All right, yes, and we're live. This is the Gentleman's Code.
I'm allowed to do that.
Absolutely. Tony's not here today. We got myself as VVG. We got the King's. This is the King's decree.
Yeah.
Bro, you should have had that on the Smash, bro. This is the King's decree.
Yeah.
And we got Shegs as well. Joining me today. I want to get straight into it, guys. I got a question here based on the conversation I was having the other day. If there was a male pill, would you take it?
A male pill for what?
Brother.
Contraception.
Contraception. Ain't talking about no headache pill. Would you take it?
I'm not gonna lie. I will take it.
You would?
I will take it.
Why?
If it means that I don't have to wear a dom, honestly, I'll probably take it.
Take it. Jazar.
I don't know, you know.
Why
Think
not?
of the long-term effects that it potentially could have.
Give me some examples.
It might low sperm count. Bro, you don't know.
Erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
Hormone
Like,
imbalance.
even without what you call it, even without all
Hormone
these things,
imbalance.
yeah, even without all these things already, you know, men are suffering with those things there, basically. So
Is it?
to now,
You would do it. I think
plus I think it's going to be a slight cop out.
of
And them are going to be slinging wolves.
It's gonna be mad.
that's the whole point of it. You know, it depends on what they say the pill does. A lot of men are against a male pill if it affects the hormones in your body. So like if the bass in your voice just goes to a treble,
Wow.
then it's a bit techie if your voice starts going higher. However, if it's one of those things that it kind of just makes your sperm just a little less swimmy. Now, my question is this.
So you basically just diluted.
You're just diluting the thing.
Allow it.
Do you know what I mean?
Allow it.
What my question is here is, one, if it was only for a period of time, so like say how women have the pill and it's like, just for that period when they're on it, they can't conceive, or certain men are doing the worm on the floor, bro. or yeah, if it was for a period of time, would you do it?
For me,
Like for as long as you're
if it was-
taking it, as long as you're taking it, then you're going to be infertile.
yeah, it's not gonna be a consistent thing that I'm taking. Like,
Yeah.
it's not gonna replace DOMs or something like that. That's
Yeah.
mad. But let's say I'm on a weekend bender and I just need to, you know.
Then you would.
I
But you know what
might.
it is though?
I'll
Those
think
things-
about it. I don't know if I will. I'll think about
You
it.
think about it because the way the female one works, they can't just use it for a weekend, right? They have to be using it.
You have to be on
You have to be on it like for a period of time. The thing about man, them, you know,
Like,
what
would you
say,
be
like-
taking it with your meals, basically? Because some females be doing that. No. Jokes aside, some females actually be taking it.
No,
with their
no,
meals.
they have to take it at certain
Yeah.
times during the day. So, like a lot of females will have like an alarm on their phone because
Right.
you have to take the pill like between a certain amount of hours. Might be like with breakfast.
Guys
or
aren't
lunch.
going to be responsible like that, to be honest, man.
They probably won't.
What? Come on.
But think about how much like madness it will save the world. So I tell you why, because you're essentially taking all the power away from a female into your own hands. Now there's no conversation about you tricked me into blah 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 or
it's like I said before.
I thought you didn't want to have a kid. And now you're saying blah, blah, blah. Now it's all in the male hands because it's like you just know that
Nope.
your swimmers are just not swimming.
Nope. Again,
You wouldn't do it.
I think guys are going to be even more irresponsible, as it is already now.
But surely that makes you more responsible.
Bro, okay, if guys are even forgetting now to even carry a dom,
Yeah.
then to go and take a pill.
Oh, you mean actually take? Okay, I got what you mean. You're saying they're just gonna forget to take the pill.
Of course.
And you'll just do a madness.
Yeah.
But you know how you're saying that it's gonna save damage. I feel like it's gonna cause a lot of damage.
Go on.
Because we're just thinking about kids. What about STDs?
All right.
It could become real peak.
It's
at it.
mad.
All
But
right.
You know what the situation is? Man, they don't even care about STDs now.
It's true.
This is it.
It's actually true.
This is it.
Man, they are going on away games, bro, and just moving hella reckless now. Like, do you know what I mean? But you're right. But it's like I was having a conversation with someone. And I was like, okay, so for a different example now, yeah. The male equivalent of it, it's not even a pill, but you know when men get to a stage where they don't have any more kids anymore, then they get the vasectomy. So would you do that?
Never. I'm
Never?
sorry, never.
Why?
Because it just doesn't make sense for me. Like, I feel like as a man, I
But I'm
don't
saying-
know.
Do you know what I mean? Because if you think about it, if you've already had the kids you want to have and you don't want any more surprises, then
Yeah, sure.
are you just thinking to yourself, bruv, why keep rolling the dice?
Sure. Sure.
Because
it just feels like it's your manhood, like it's something that you should still have. I don't know.
No, for me, your manhood is being able to get it up and do what you need to do.
It's true.
Now, it's not like you won't, because I don't know, don't quote me on this, but if you did a vasectomy, again, I don't know if you can't, I think you still ejaculate or what have you, but it's just the quality of the sperm it's not the same. So basically you can't, there's something, it dilutes it basically, like you were saying. I don't think you actually shoot blanks. I think you shoot, but it just becomes watered down, I think.
Are you sure you shoot?
I think you
Because
do,
if the
man.
tubes are tied.
I don't think.
You don't shoot, no?
I don't think you
it is
shoot.
that you shoot.
Is it? Anyway, someone Google that while we're talking about it. But either way, but you still feel it the same way. You still feel the same way you would. It's just like, even if nothing comes out, you still feel the same way.
Yeah. Funny enough, I know of a YouTuber that recently did that.
Yeah?
He's had 4 kids.
And he just thought, nah, not again.
This is the thing. He's been talking about getting a vasectomy once they had their 4th child. So
Is
he's
it?
He's been having a conversation with his wife and he just literally made the plunge and got the vasectomy.
Yeah? Wait, hold on. Abs, what you saying? You still ejaculate? It's just that. There we go. So it's just semen that comes out, no sperm.
Right.
So I've got 2 friends. One who has 4 kids. And it's like, yeah, I'm definitely going to do it. One who has 1 kid. And it's like, yeah, when it gets to that point, I'm definitely going to do it. So 2 very different scenarios. But both of them are saying, yeah, I'm not. They're trying to get the tubes tied. Because the thing is, if you really don't want to have kids, having another kid is an expensive, not even financially, but it's just, when I say it's an expensive decision, it just takes a lot out of you.
But for me,
It takes
still,
a lot, man.
I feel like you have to reach a certain age. Because you might not want to have kids. Let's say somebody that's like 35 or something, that have 2 kids.
Yeah.
You might not be in a position that you feel like you want to have another kid then. But let's say maybe when you touch 40, you might be like, I'm going to add another one.
You think so?
If you tied it, can you untie it?
Okay, but how many kids do you guys, okay, realistically, can you untie it? Definitely, I don't think you can. How many kids do you guys think of having realistically?
I'm not going to lie. I'm from a big family, so I need at least 4.
Well, at least 4.
I'm not going to lie. I need 4 in my house. I'm just used to having a lot of people around.
I did. So there's a point in time I wanted 2 sets of twins. But I'm not the one. I'm not the. There, 2 that look like me, 2 that look like my wife. Perfect.
That's so specific.
But I know, obviously, as I've got older, I know that's not probably going to be my case. Like, I would say I'll be happy with 2.
Yeah.
If I was to get a boy and a girl, I'm not too sure whether I want a boy first or a girl first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this is the thing. I've always seen that. I've always said, okay, I want a boy first, but there's some videos that I've seen online, and I've seen some girls, and I'm just like, yo. Like, and this is the thing for me, is that when it comes, like, anyone that knows me, when it comes, like, I'm a big kid. So, like, me playing with kids, and do you get what I'm saying? Is that, I love children in that sense there, like, to play with them, just banter. Like, me, I'd love to set up even a daycare one time. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm just like that. Do you get what I'm, in that sense there? But, yeah, 2, if I blessed with 3, great. But then again, it's financial, man. Because obviously it's definitely.
I think with me, 2, going back to what you're saying, 2 is cool for me. I've always thought to myself, I had that like 4 or 5 kid dream a few years ago. And when I had my son, I said, I got one of you motherfuckers left. I got one more in me. Bro, I'm thinking to myself, I got one more in, whether that's a boy or a girl, whatever it is, I'm riding it out. But kids are work, man. And you know, it's like you love your kids, what have you, but kids are work. And I've always thought to myself, I don't want to be like changing nappies and stuff at like 40. Like, I want my kids to be like a certain age by the time I'm like touching like 40 and stuff, where they're just, I can still enjoy life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And do the things that I want to do, or just focus on other things. But, and you know as well, there's the whole thing of having like the big gap.
Right. Yeah.
You know, sometimes, like you're saying, like, say if I have 2 now, then in like another 10 years, I'm like, oh, I fancy another one. Then I have to go back to the stage where I'm like waking up every 2 hours. Like it's, you feel like you're a new parent all over again.
But then what if your missus is like, yo, like, because I know some females want to have more kids because I think they enjoy the feeling of being pregnant.
That's a very good point, because I actually think the woman has the final say in this situation.
No, they most certainly do not, and that's what we're going to talk about. They most certainly do not have. The thing, what you don't understand is that we are controlling the lateral flow of the mechanisms of pregnancy.
Providing the seed.
You know what I mean? Like, for me, I think obviously because I got a boy now, she wants a girl next, innit? But she keeps saying to me that, oh, but if the next one's a boy, then what happens? And I'm like, boy, if the next one's a boy, the next one's a boy. I'm not gonna try for a third one and then it's another boy, and it's just like, where does this stop? Where does this fantasy stop?
I had an auntie that did that. So every time, so she's got 4 boys, and every time she was like, okay, a girl is coming, and they actually thought the last one was gonna be a girl. Turned out it was a boy.
What number was that?
4.
That's why. But you know what it is as well, because obviously it's interesting that you say that, because when I first found out, I was very upset. I was kind of obsessed with it being a boy. I was like, I want a boy first. And you know, with men in it, you just want someone that can continue your lineage and just continue the family name. You got someone that can just So I'll never forget the day, when we went to the obviously you get the Skyline night. Yeah. And I was actually kind of nervous. I was keeping it cool, but I was like, obviously if it's a girl, it'd be the same. But I was like, oh, it's a boy. And then when she was like, oh yeah, should I read it? I was a boy. I actually celebrated in the room. Bro, I did a fist pump. Right there, she was like, yes, boy. I was like, yes, get in. Do you know what I mean? I was so gassed, bro. I was like, okay, I got the boy out of the way. But at the same time now, my son is at the stage now where he actually just doesn't give a shit about me. So he doesn't care no more. So before, when he was a bit younger, I would come back from work. He's running to the door. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's excited to see me. That's all gone. Now I just walk in the house and he's like, bro, what are you doing there? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So for me now, I've got to say, so I'm like, nah, I actually realize that boys you don't actually appreciate the love I'm giving, but a female would appreciate it more.
It depends.
I think so anyway. I always say to him all the time, I say, when he, like, if I try to hug him, he doesn't hug me. I'm like, when I have a girl, you appreciate me.
I hear that.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe it's because he's just a bit, and he's becoming more aware.
Or is the missus the one that always provides the love, so he just knows?
No, I'm actually very affectionate of him. You know what it is? I just feel like as he's getting older and he's understanding cartoons a lot more. And cartoons are very good at establishing gender roles and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So like, I think he now knows, okay, this is dad and this is mum, and this is what I kind of think the relationship between dad and mum is meant to be like, based on what I've seen and what relationship between mum and, do you know what I mean? So I think he's starting to understand that.
Okay.
Maybe that's why he's a bit more, not standoffish, but a bit more macho.
I think it's the fact of he just knows that you're going to be there, to be honest. Because there's kids that are very, like, they understand the dynamics very easily. Do you get what I'm saying? So, like, there's been times when I've been around you and he's been there, and if you're not around, he's like, yo, where is dad?
He's looking around like,
yeah.
But obviously if at home, he knows I'm somewhere.
That's what it is, basically.
Yeah, that's what it
is.
Yeah. That's what it is. But it's like, I don't, honestly, in terms of going back to what I was saying about the male pill, it all depends on the side effects. But I actually think the idea is good. But I think that men will be very hypocritical when it comes to be like, no, I'm not taking that. But when it comes to the women, they'll be like, obviously jump on that, innit?
So let's say if it came out in like the next 6 months, would you take it?
Summer 2021?
Summer 2021.
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay,
it's
so
a big chance.
Okay, so you'll take it, yeah?
With the COVID vaccine.
Perfect. So you'll take it, right? Yeah.
Possibly. I'll weigh it up.
I'll weigh it up.
I'll weigh it
But
up.
then are you taking the COVID vaccine?
I have to weigh that up as well.
Because the reason why I'm saying that is in terms of how quick this thing has been in discussion, and obviously in terms of production, and then all of a sudden, and that's in a sense my issue to a degree with the COVID vaccine in terms of how quick.
Yeah, and the side effects, and you don't know the long time.
This is it now. This is it. So I'm just like, let's not. I just keep my thing in my pants. And that's it.
I just keep moving.
Yeah, man.
But it's funny because, like I said, you would expect men to jump on it because you think to yourself, with how mad men move here, and being able to completely, let's keep it all the way 100. Men do not want to have babies with 9 out of the 10 girls that they sleep with. They don't. In fact, not only they don't want to have babies with them, having a child with them is the worst thing in the world. Yeah. So it's like, if that is your thought process, then but you still want to keep sleeping with these girls, why would you not want to do anything you can to safeguard yourself?
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, you're more than willing to to put a girl through that. Because if a girl tells you she's on the pill, well, most times man are not even asking a girl if she's on the pill.
100%.
Man are asking after. Man are sleeping with a girl and be like, and calling them the next day like, oh, what? Say swear. Are you like, what's the situation?
I'll tell you.
Actually, can we like go into that a little bit? At what point in a conversation when you're talking to a girl would you speak on that?
you have to have that.
No, because this is the thing. No. Because this is the thing. Yeah, you're asking about like, okay, what's the girl's body count? That will come up very quickly in, let's say, or in terms of, let's say, when you're speaking about sex, you're gonna obviously talk about positions or whatever. How many potentially might even ask, okay, how many guys you slept with, how many girls you slept with, cool. But I don't think there's ever a conversation where you're asking about, are you on the pill? Unless when you're in the.
I think
but then
that most guys actually think that okay, the girl's figured this out before if she's not, she will say.
Yeah.
That's that. I don't feel like guys ever ask. I actually don't.
Yeah.
But should that be a
don't think
conversation
that's-
beforehand though?
It definitely should be.
It should be, but
What-
I don't think guys do.
What about if she's on the pill or not?
Yeah.
Most guys do not ask.
They don't ask
They
until
ask
after.
afterwards.
Yeah.
And this is why we still have the same problem.
We have very big problems. It's like when you guys think about it, it's tapped.
Brother.
Because you're actually just doing a madness and then being like, oh, let me see if I can try and fix this up now. And going back to what you're saying about body count as well, it's almost like really and truly, unless you're trying to make a girl your girl, do you care about how many men you slept with?
I think you do. You know?
I don't think man do.
If you're just trying to, if you're just trying to have sex, I don't think.
yeah.
If you're not trying to wifey,
Yeah, if you're not trying to wife,
Why?
then
Yeah,
why-
most people
why
don't
do you
care. Most people don't care.
No,
So-
you do care.
what I'm saying, what's that got to do? Why do you care?
To be honest, it depends how the girl looks, really.
Okay. If you're gonna use protection, would you care? Okay, so it's not the fact that she's holding; it's the safety of it. Okay, do you know what I mean? I know you were saying you would care. Why?
You would care.
No, I said if you're not wifing.
If we go back to like uni days,
Yeah.
and then obviously there was that girl on campus that everyone has got. Like, I'm not going to go and chat. I don't care. Whether you feel on the plate,
I tell you,
on
the
table.
man them was still going through.
Man them was still-
The man them was still going through.
I actually think you're an anomaly, you know.
No,
The man them
wait,
was still
I
going
actually
through.
know the
Yeah,
thing is-
shut
The
your
man them.
That what? Sorry.
Wait, so you know, back in the day in uni, there was always that girl or that
Yeah,
group
yeah.
of girls that were known that they've been with that man, been with that.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I'm not going there.
Exactly,
I'm not going
that's
there.
what I mean.
No, I'm not
But
going there.
that's-
No.
that's what
So
we're
this is what I'm
talking
saying. I'm saying
I'm not
that
going there.
you wouldn't go there because of what?
because I know you've gone through the
Bare man.
the
But she's not your girl.
The squad.
Yeah,
It's
we're
not
not talking
a
about
girl.
relationship.
Regardless
Yeah,
of whether it's
yeah.
You're not trying to wife here though.
No, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm not trying to go there.
You're not.
Who respect from who?
Back in uni as well.
Not for me.
Back in uni.
Respect from who?
Listen, I'm also a trophy. I'm a trophy. as well.
Hey, know your worth.
I'm a trophy.
Man
as
said I'm
well.
a trophy. I'm a catch.
I'm-
All right, but you know what it is though. I get all that. You guys respect yourself, but I'm saying that man them will say that, and then still just go and fling it about, brother. And I beef her.
That's man them over there, not me. Not me.
So you're telling me, if you ever, like, say you're at a party, you're drunk, you're horny, you want to,
No.
you want to have,
No.
and you know that girl's a gent.
No.
No.
I've always been like that.
To be honest, none of these guys, I definitely know that that's their vibe. I'm not even surprised. I'm not surprised by their answers. I was just wondering what drove. I was just trying to understand why they thought that
I'm a
way.
trophy.
So basically, you're saying that she doesn't deserve you.
She doesn't.
Wow.
I respect it.
Facts.
I
You see,
respect
you
it.
see me at uni. For me, first of all, what helped was my uni was barren when it came to girls. When my year anyway,
It was barren.
brother.
Barren, you
It
know.
was
barren.
barren.
There wasn't like, and the amount of like lovers' webs, not triangles, webs that were happening at uni. I just said, you know what? Listen, I'm not even going to try. I don't want to
wanna
be
get
involved in
intertwined
that.
as well.
Yeah, I didn't want to be involved in that. The amount of like, let's say, passa that was going on. I said, yeah, I'm not involved.
Do you know what? For me, I went
sitting back
uni.
and watching.
I went uni in the Midlands, so it was very hard to kind of find a girl or female that you don't know their history of.
'Cause
Kind of
everyone-
thing. So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not
that's-
gonna lie,
yeah, that- you know- let me
it
tell
was
you why.
very, very hard.
You know
so
why?
if
Yeah?
you're picky
No.
like that,
I'll tell you why.
there's
Because
no
you go to
enjoyment.
uni, right? Yeah, and everybody was doing reset body count. Everyone was doing CBR check was reset. Everything was reset. So, and it's the thing, especially when I went to uni, obviously Facebook was still the new thing. Do you get what I'm saying? So,
it would've been, yeah.
and you didn't realize. So, only when I got to uni, I realized how small the world is. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you go there now. Obviously, let's say if you were ugly ducking back in college now, you obviously get loan now. Okay, cool. You can do 2 trims and whatnot. You get a loan, Foot Locker, buy drip, whatever. Yeah, cool. So obviously you can be like, yeah, I'm here innit? And obviously everyone's excited, freshers, great. Do you get what I'm saying? So you can do your thing now, but then you're then finding out, you go to like, let's say one big uni link up or whatever, and you're like, how you know this person? Oh yeah, we went to college together. And you find out, actually he was a neek in college, you know. he was a dancer in college, and he like, but this, no, but he's safe. Like, nah. From then on, I just said, just let me just keep myself to myself.
That's so mad. Yeah, I know about the Midlands. It's definitely very small, man. I've not heard too many stories about the Midlands. It's the Wild West out there. So in that situation, when you're saying that because everybody knows everybody, then what's the solution then?
That's why I'm saying in the Midlands,
Listen,
if you're one of those people that care about, this girls be with
You're
this,
gonna be with
I'm
no
telling
one.
you're not going to be with anybody. You're not going to be with anybody. Because in the Midlands, I'm telling you, everybody, obviously there's some people that didn't do stuff, but everybody knows everyone's history.
Yeah. If I don't keep it 100% real,
Majority.
if you're not trying to wifey, I couldn't give a toss.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Exactly.
Like, I couldn't give it. And the only reason why is that if you're trying to wifey, I get it, because you're trying to understand. When you're trying to wifey someone, there's a bit more of morals. You want to get to understand someone's background. You know what's so funny? You almost kind of want to also understand why your relationships have failed in the past, without even asking, not without being like, oh yeah, like why did you guys break up? But that's actually a good way to understand someone's character traits. And I've realized with women as well, anytime women break up, it's always the guy's fault, right? So it's always like, oh yeah, you treat me like shit, blah, 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 blah. But you very, very rarely hear women be like, oh, actually, this relationship didn't work because of me. So you don't really get to see what sort of traits could actually have made that relationship not work.
Let's talk about that.
I want to hear no.
No, which is true, because you get a lot of men them saying like, okay, it didn't work out because of me.
Yeah.
Like, I cheated.
Yeah.
Or I wasn't there for her emotionally. I never hear a girl say, I was a problem.
Probably not to you.
No.
But let me ask you a question.
I've heard that conversation of a woman saying, I was the reason why the relationship didn't work.
I've actually only heard
one
woman say that. Like one of my friends has told me that.
I wasn't there for him. I didn't support him, or I wasn't emotionally there for him, or You never hear that.
No.
But you hear guys say, come out and be like, look, I wasn't there for her.
I didn't do blah blah blah. 100%.
I didn't support her at the time, whatever.
It's because women are almost, in a weird way, they've been groomed to abandon accountability from a very young age.
Wow,
that's wow. We need to hear.
Like, almost, you know what it is? It's not. I was gonna say it's not their fault, but it's just the way society has made them out to be. It's almost like when a lot of them are in relationships, it's like, well, he's done this or he's done this, or you know what I mean? It's that sort of cycle of cause and effect. And it's always easier to be like, well, the reason why it didn't work out is because you weren't doing A, B, C, and D.
Right.
And most of the time, men will just take that as a battering ram. Do you know, really and truly? Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, you ain't doing this. Oh, okay. Oh, you ain't doing this. Oh, okay. Do you know what I mean? And it's almost like we live in a world where it's like, where the sort of rhetoric is like, men are supposed to cater to a woman's needs, cater to her needs, cater to her emotions, regardless of how your emotions are feeling in the situation. It's about catering to their emotions constantly, because we're taught that they're overly emotional creatures.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, oh, but have you listened to her? But have you heard her? Are you sure how you're feeling? What about how you're feeling?
Yeah, I heard that.
Do you know what I mean? And a lot of the time, in society, that's just put on the back burner. And then all of a sudden, we get to a point now where we're in the world, everyone's screaming male mental health. Well, when were we when this is always going to happen? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I hear that still.
This was always going to happen. Like,
that's a valid
at some point.
man.
So, yeah, going back to what you were saying about, I don't actually know why they don't do it, but they've always got a way out.
One of my boys was telling me a story about how he was with a girl. The girl, he looked after the girl, everything. Girl had a kid, not by him, looked after it. She went and did a whole heap of madness, and then he's left now, like, and gone and found out that she's done madness with someone that he knows, like months after. Now, accountability, zero. No, like, oh yeah, I've done this. Like, he's had to go and he's found that information. She didn't come to him. Now, obviously in society, he's used the man to one that's usually not there, doesn't support the woman with the kid that she has. Now he's done that. There's no conversation about from her side saying, "Oh, I done you wrong." You will never hear it. She'll never go and tell her bedroom, her girls or whatever. That you done wrong. It was my fault. Like, I messed up the whole thing.
She might do, but she's never gonna hear. No, she might do, but you're never gonna hear that conversation, because if it's between her and a girl, she's not gonna.
I know for a fact she's not having. But
I know this is why it's great to maybe get a few more involved in this conversation at some point. But do you think females actually have that conversation between themselves?
I don't think they have it with other females. No. They might have it with their male friends. Because like for me, I've had some female friends that have come and say, do you know what? actually messed up. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But between like the girls, I don't feel like they have that kind of
I don't know if they
conversation.
do.
I don't think they.
Would a girl go to a girl and
you
be like, I'm a shit girlfriend?
know?
But man them will. Man
Man
them
them
be
would-
like, bro,
man
I
them
won't
would
lie, bro.
definitely do that.
I ain't taking this girl out in months. My sex is shit. like man them will just keep it one.
Yeah.
Man them will just keep it 100 with their boys.
Yeah,
You just say, like,
true.
bro, I won't lie to you.
I feel they
That's
do.
because it's a culture. It's a funny thing for us to say.
It's a bad
Between
routine.
them, it kind of puts a stain on their
Character. Yeah. It's
and
true.
Just to touch on the like accountability, women not having. I actually disagree. I think when as a woman, like the accountability isn't coming from your friend. It's coming from social norms.
Okay.
Whereas, for example, like we've seen recently in news, obviously with Sarah Everard and stuff like that. When things happen, there's always that crowd on Twitter shouting, "Oh, she should have done this. She should have taken this other route." Or the cliche, she shouldn't be wearing that short of a dress, a skirt, or she shouldn't be. So that accountability isn't like they're not asking for a woman to reply to that, but it's just like a thing ever like it's like dark cloud on top of them that they have to be like so mindful of. That, for example, if they do slip into such issues such as Sarah Everard, rape, etc., that question comes up again. And like, it's you. You know what I'm saying? So that's social norm.
In that situation, I get it because, like, in her situation, she was a woman that was preyed on in public. Like, I'm talking about a very specific situation where someone's in a relationship with somebody and you're having your isms and schisms in your relationship and you just don't want to take accountability of the shit that you're doing. And I'm saying that, obviously, you can't generalize and say for all, but I just feel like there is a societal trend that a lot of the time it's his fault. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's his fault or he hasn't done this or he hasn't done that. But a lot of the time, and I feel like a lot of the time, like I said, men will actually just, even when it's not their fault, men will just be like, oh, it just is what it is. Because almost like we've been taught to be like, well, just take it.
Just take it anyway, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we're actually just taught, and because it's also very easy for women to manipulate men via emotions. So you might be arguing with a female, as soon as she turns on the sprinklers, like, you'll just back down.
Yeah.
You actually just, like, think about it. You could be arguing with a female. She could be in the wrong, because she starts crying, you'll back down. But man will never be like, oh, look, stop that. What's that? Look, just stop that. You know what I mean? Like, but that will twang you.
Yeah.
If you say the same thing, if you say, for example, let's say I'm saying something to a woman,
Yeah.
and I'm saying the same thing to that woman again, but in a different tone.
Okay.
And the sprinklers both turn on and both turn.
Yeah.
I think as a more professional, like, way of delivering the message, you still carry on. But in a way where you're animated and she's turning on the sprinklers, that's when you feel like, oh shit, like I'm doing something. You realize yourself, you become self-aware of like
what you're doing. So you know what? That's a good scenario you put up here, and there's two ways that can go, right? Because I feel like one, there are women that become very emotional when men are quite like, I want to use the word aggressive. That sounds bad, but animated, right? And it's just like, oh, why are you becoming so blah blah blah? But at the same time, there are many situations where women are upset because men are not matching their energy. Yeah. So, for example, a woman could be like, oh my God, and you're just like, okay, and then, but she's almost upset because you are not as irate as she is.
But so one of us has to be the calm one.
But this, why can't both of us not be calm? Why can't we both not come together?
That's a you issue. That sounds like a me issue.
You mean from a man's perspective?
No, from a man's perspective, if a woman's being too caught up in it, and I get it, emotions run through people. Mm-hmm. But that just goes to show how mature you are in that relationship.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to take that sort of like moment, okay, we're here around the table, we're discussing this issue.
Yeah.
You've lost the argument for even
because you're becoming irate.
Yeah,
I agree, but and this is what I feel like. Again, there's a pattern sometimes where women use that, and they'll be like for example, say someone is like, have you had a female just go at you before? Oh, I'm going at you, going at you. You're just like, okay. Then it's like, oh, so you don't even care. You don't even care, and you're just like, no, I'm actually just taking what you're saying. No, but you don't care. Okay, what do you have to say? Well, I'm just processing what you're saying. I'm actually trying to process it. Do you know what I mean? Like, but they flip the script and they'll be like, well, you don't even care. What are you talking about? It's tactical, man.
I feel like females are low-key attracted to toxic
Behavior.
Whoa.
Toxic masculinity.
They like that.
You're lucky you're off cam, bro.
Telling you.
Oh yeah, no, I can't.
Do you know what it is? I don't know if they're attracted to it, but
Because you can think about it. Okay, girls are always attracted to the bad boy, never the
school.
the good boy. They like that level of.
Exactly. No, you got a point when you say when you put
I
it
feel like
that.
certain traits.
When
There's certain traits.
They hide it a bit more.
Yeah.
But they always love a little bit of.
the bad boy.
Exactly. There's a conversation in that because okay, yeah, using the word toxic might seem strong, but a lot of girls, sorry, will have that kind of stereotype. Oh, I like a bad guy or a guy that has something about it. What's the definition of that?
I think that comes from school days, yeah, because look,
Nobody will still say
No,
today.
but as they grow up, I feel like.
Shall I tell you why? Because women,
A 29-year-old girl will still say.
She cannot say that.
I like the
She cannot say that.
Something about it.
because women do not want men that other women don't want.
That's where it comes down to. I don't think it's down to the toxicity.
Women do not want men
That's the thing.
that other women don't want. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but I think this is, I'm not gonna lie, this is very generic. What that is, that's just very generic. I think if you look
About
at
bad
it-
boys.
Yeah, like for example, I want a bad boy. That's
Yeah.
very generic. I'm not gonna lie, that's just so. It's so 2009.
Do you know what it is?
like-
When he says bad boy, I don't think he means like, oh yeah, like gigs, bro. Like, I feel like what he's saying is almost like I want someone that's gonna keep me on my toes a bit,
Yeah.
or someone that's a bit
Yeah, that's what
feisty,
they do say
a
that.
bit edgy.
But I still think that's still generic to a certain, for example, culture, certain.
Of course.
Certain like way of who you are, personality.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you're gonna like, and this is me from like obviously seeing both directions, like
Mm-hmm.
the good innocent girl, whatever. That's not really gonna fly.
Yeah, yeah.
And that does not even pay any dividends.
I think you know what it is. Should I tell you what I classify as bad boy? As someone that woman just can't walk all over.
That's what
Yeah.
Do you know, that's one. And two, a guy that, you know, women always use phrases like a guy that can walk in a room and hold the room
Yeah,
and
that's what-
he's well respected and again, it doesn't have to be well respected like everybody in the world knows who he is, but in his circle and in amongst his peers and
But I think
in
they
his
attach-
level.
They attach that to being loud, to being when it comes down to it, they're ready to chef up. Like John saying, like, oh,
No. I don't
know.
I think it goes back to what Sheg was saying in terms of like the fact that he has something about him.
He's got something about him.
Is you that even said it that in terms of the fact that every woman kind of wants.
Yeah, women want a guy. Women don't want a man that no other woman wants.
Yes.
Because it always feels better to be like, well, everybody else wanted him, but I got him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Bragging
mean?
rights.
Huh?
The bragging rights.
It's almost like
in
a
the
bragging
same in the same way for us guys where we want that baddie.
yeah, but how long does that last though? How long does that last?
You know what it is?
A, into a relationship, B, into a marriage life. Like, for example, if they're going.
I'll tell you how long
That's
it
a
lasts.
very
I'll tell you
good question.
How long does that wear off? It's like,
No,
It don't last.
I'll tell you how
Shall I
long
say
it
when it
lasts.
stops? You tell you when it lasts.
Where does it stop?
It stops, yeah, when they start reaching the age of 30s.
I agree,
And
no.
they want to, and they're trying to look for a partner to settle
No,
down,
I
and they
agree,
can't, and they
no.
can't do that.
Oh,
I'm telling
for
you,
females.
for
Yes.
females, yeah, for females,
But you just
for
pointed out
females.
an issue then.
What's the issue?
The issue is that you're going for someone who's not mature then. Until they reach 30, they're mature all of a sudden.
No, I think
No,
I get what Sheng is saying. Like, for example, I know quite a few female friends, yeah, who are now dating men that I know that 5 or 6 years ago you wouldn't have dated that guy. Do you understand what I'm saying? You would not have rated that guy 5 or 6 years ago, but here we are
But
today.
is that due to the man changing or the woman changing?
Oh, the guy is definitely not changed.
It's the woman
It's
that's
the fact
changed.
that, like Sheng was saying, you just now reached a certain point in life. Your priorities are different. Like all those little check boxes that you thought were important to you are maybe not important anymore.
But I think that's rare. I think
Rare.
I don't think that's
I think
rare.
from that perspective,
That's
it's rare
definitely not
because
rare.
You know how like I say stereotype, but the social norm of someone saying women are more mature than men, and they mature a lot quicker than men. So why is the woman asking for a bad boy at
Exactly.
30?
That's the question. Why?
No, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think
They don't
that's
ask
what I think.
that. They
I don't
don't
think
do
women
that.
are asking for bad boys at 30. I actually think women in their 30s plus are just saying, I want a good man.
That's it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah.
What Ali just said is perfect because what he's saying is that so we're brought up and told
Yeah.
that women are more mature. They grow
Yeah,
up
yeah.
a lot more mature than us.
Even in school,
Like
even
from
Yeah,
school days
yeah.
till like our early 20s. But then explain to me why then if someone who's mature,
Yeah.
why they're now saying, oh, I want this type of guy, like I want a bad
No, but that's what I'm saying. I think that stops once they get to a certain age where they're like if a woman is single and she's like 30 plus, her dating life probably hasn't been what she expected it to be, and she might have thought that she had been settled down by that age. She might have had a certain sort of guy that she thought she was going to be with at 22 or 23 that is probably not realistic anymore. So by the time she gets to like 30, she might just be like, Well, is that really important? Probably not. Check out the list. Is that really important? Probably not. Okay, what do I need? A decent guy, good guy, God-fearing guy, good dad,
so the meaning-
Shall I give you
decent
some more
job.
examples as well? Even in terms of like the earning, you always see like someone. I'm mid-20s, yeah. When I was like early 20s, I saw even up to now, yeah, a lot of women like, 6 figures. He needs to be 6 figures.
Yeah.
He needs to look like this. He needs to be this tall. I just touched 25, yeah, and the tone of some of my female friends and females that are around me has changed already. It's already starting to
100%.
change. I'm seeing it change. I've had this discussion in the group chat as well.
Bro, some
In
of that
terms of
checklist has
if
become
it was
shorter.
6 figures, is now that figure's dropped.
That's now 50K.
If it was 6'3", that's dropped.
Now he's 5'8".
You see what I mean?
Do you think that's because they've actually seen who you are?
No.
Just nothing to do with
It's
me.
nothing to do with him.
It's nothing to
It's
do
just
with me.
life.
But he just
Yeah.
the women around him have
Yeah.
changed their checklist.
Yeah.
So when the reason for me, the only reason why you would change your checklist, you'd be like, oh shit, like I see something and I actually value that.
No,
It
then
don't matter.
no, they're not changing their checklist because of me.
Not because of
they're
him.
changing their checklist because they know.
because of them.
For me, I hate to say it, yeah, but I feel like all women know that they've got a body clock. They've got a clock.
Yeah,
A lot of women are aware of that. and
Yeah.
Whether
That's
it's
true.
consciously or unconsciously, they're always thinking, okay,
If they wanna
want to
have
have kids,
kids,
yeah,
if they wanna have
exactly.
kids,
If they
yeah.
want to have kids, yeah, they're like, okay, there's a certain age where they can have kids up to kind of thing. And I feel like as they draw closer to that, their kind of attraction changes as well. So when they were valuing the kind of, I don't know, bad guy, so to say, or the person that's on this amount of P's or something, that's now changing because their priorities are changing because obviously they now are looking to have kids and they're looking for something more sustainable and more stable.
But so you're saying the reason why they aren't thinking that sooner is because they want the bad boy.
No, you're saying that. What do you mean?
So the reason why you're thinking the body clock.
Yeah.
The reason why they only think of that like later in life
Yeah.
is because 10 years ago I was thinking I want the bad boy.
No, it's because of the fact that as youth, whether you're a man or a woman, you're ideal. At 20 years old, you're idealistic in everything.
100%.
You're not realistic about anything.
100.
At 18, 19, 20, 21, everything, you just believe that you have the right to the extreme. Do you get it? Now, by the time you get to your mid-20s, late 20s, 30s, you're just you're a lot more realistic about life and where you're at and what your level is. Now, I think men are very good at understanding where their level is. Now, the reason why I say that is this. You will never see a guy like us see Rihanna down the street and be like, let me try and move to Rihanna. You are well aware that Rihanna is out of your league. You have no right to speak to her because you can do nothing for her. And because of that, you will never do
But
that.
that's because the ball's in her part. You get me? The
What do you
ball's
mean?
in her court, sorry. Like the ball, like you can still be in her eyes a 10-10. But because you think
Nah,
you're
it's deeper than that. What, 10-10 in what? In terms of looks? You think that's going to do anything for Rihanna?
no.
Hey, that's my point.
Maybe you're just the way you are.
Bro,
You could be attractive.
at this point in life, I have nothing to offer Rihanna. What
No,
I
we're
offer
not
her?
saying Rihanna, we're saying an equivalent to.
Yeah, or whatever, yeah. But no, I'm not talking about, because we're not talking about looks, we're talking about who she is. Do you see what I'm saying? We're not forget looks now, we're just talking about her status as well. If we're just talking about looks, that's different. But in terms of her overall status,
But I think you won't know that until you get to that circle where they're just dating within each other. And
well,
like,
then if I'm in that circle, then actually I'm on her level. then I'm a Jay-Z, right? Or I'm
Okay.
the equivalent of that.
That's what you're trying to say.
That's what I'm saying.
Because you're more aware of your level.
You're more aware of your
So you're
level.
not- it's like, you're not going to be pushing above.
Not by that much.
Not that much. 1 or 2 above your level because you got a bit of balls and stuff like that.
Do you know what I mean?
For someone who's like, let's say, in a financial different bracket to you, like I think that it goes to the fact of it being a financial bracket, and in terms of her influence, like, okay, what are you providing for her?
Yeah,
So
like
do you
what?
think, so in our eyes,
Yeah.
I don't know if we're all in agreement, in our eyes, that's a downgrade for her.
1
Okay,
million
okay.
%.
But do you think in a world that we live in, that's
Yeah.
not possible?
What's not
Do you
possible?
think that's not possible? Like for someone like Rihanna's status,
No
to date
chance.
outside of
nope,
the
and I don't
A-list
think-
celebrity.
The chances are mad low.
Forget the chances. I
It
don't even agree with it.
It can happen.
I don't agree with it.
It can happen. The only thing is now there'll be certain things, because this is the thing as well. You have to get used to her way of living.
And you cannot. You cannot.
You can get
Can't.
you can get used to it. You can
Can't.
get used to it for a little, but there'll always be certain points where it's like raw. Like, okay, think of it this way: have you sat in first class before?
Yeah.
On a plane?
Yeah.
How did you feel when you sat in first class?
God damn.
So imagine this: every experience, let's say places that she's taking you to, you're having that.
Oh, hold on, let me pause you there. What did you just say? What was that phrase you just said? Every place that she's doing what?
having that
So
experience.
she is taking you.
Taking
It's
you.
mad.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
It's mad.
so she's now taking you places. You're
Right.
now that guy that's just walking
Because
around.
that's her
hanging on
lifestyle.
Rihanna's
That's her
arm.
lifestyle.
Listen, okay, let's take this out of a Rihanna context. Let's say, for example, your wife and we'll talk about wife in here. Let's say your wife and someone who is successful,
Yep.
has a business,
Yep.
stream of incomes,
Yep.
and the thing that you guys have bonded is that you're calm, like
Yep.
your level of income is calm.
Yep.
Okay, you've entered the home now, for sharing, but you become more of the stay-at-home dad.
Yep.
And because her business is a successful one, etc., she's continuing on.
Yeah.
As a man, would you sacrifice that? Would you be willing? Because then.
But it's not a sacrifice.
because
It's not a
everything else
sacrifice.
is like her money. Then.
No, it's not a
For me-
sacrifice, though.
For me personally, I can't do. So I tell you, I can't do that because firstly, for me personally, biblically, that's not what a man's supposed to do. I'll keep it 100 with you, bro. That's not what I'm meant to be doing. I'm not meant to be sitting at home. That's what I'm meant to be doing. I'm supposed to be out there getting it. So I could never accept a dynamic where I'm staying at home. No chance, not ever.
At all.
Not in a million years.
I'm not saying you're a bum.
No, but you know what it is? Even if I was sitting at home being a stay-at-home dad, I would not thrive in that position.
Unless that's part of your core, because there's guys that
Do you know what I mean?
that do flourish in that.
And some people do, but I don't thrive in that position. And that doesn't mean that I love my child any less, or that I won't when I'm actually at home I'm not active. But I will not thrive doing that full time.
But that's you giving into social norms of what a man needs to be.
No, I actually think that in my situation, I actually feel like I am taking away from what we can do as a family because that's not where my core strength is. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I actually believe that if I am in that role, actually, I'm holding the family back actually because I'm capable of doing more. You know, and that's why I'm saying that that's just in my dynamic. So for other men, like you're saying, that might be where their strength is.
100%, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But again, I think the key thing, and this going back to what Shegs was saying, is what is the gulf? Because the gulf between a 30k and a 50k, a 30k man and a 50k woman is not mad.
Definitely
a gulf
not
between
mad.
a 30k man and a 300 bags a year woman is a very different conversation.
yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, so it's like, again, how do you navigate that? And that's why I said that. I think that the reason why most men won't do that, and women talk about it all the time, that, oh yeah, if a man finds out I'm on this thing, he will turn him off me. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Because it goes back to what I said before. Men are very good at assessing where their level is.
So how does a woman who earns 300 bags
Find a man that earns the same.
Okay, how does a woman go about who earns 300 bags a year
Yeah.
go about dating or go about securing the man? Does it have to be a person? Because you see them cliche like movies of like the woman that earns 300k a year.
Yeah.
Dating some guy from the hood because he has the moves.
But then again, it
bit
depends.
boisterous.
But then in those films, there you always see the guy trying to basically build a perception that I'm of this.
Yeah.
Because I've realized you're on this level, I need to kind of give some sort of facade that I'm actually on this level. Do you get what I'm saying? And
So
then,
that's what you're saying, that, for example, if a man earns significantantly less and he meets someone that earns a lot of money, he's going to try to pretend
exactly,
like that level
yeah.
so that he feels
those,
like...
So you're saying
in those
he's
movie
gonna-
scenarios. Do you
Yeah.
get what I'm- I think the only way it can sometimes, in a sense, work is if you have known the dude beforehand, like, and if there's been a case of,
Friends.
yeah, and then it's
Yeah,
a case of I've known you for time, and then it's kind of like, oh, there's been a progression in terms of, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What your status has become.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I like
I've
that.
seen. Yeah, I think that can, in that scenario, that can work. It's
Yeah.
very difficult. I feel like it is very difficult for you to, I think, as a man, to get used to the fact of, okay, someone who is, you know, like I said, like the Rihanna situation, taking you so many experiences, like, and every time it feels like it's first class for you. Every single, bro, you're just gonna feel like you're gonna feel out of your depth at certain points. Do you get what I'm
100%.
saying? Like, as much as you might try to feel confident, like
hard, man.
it's gonna be hard because you're gonna feel like, okay, so like. In what
But you
situation?
guys are thinking of
No.
it as a
I'm just thinking. No,
ego.
think. No. It's not
No,
the case.
no,
Yeah,
no,
no.
no.
Yes.
It will be that. It will
Yes.
be that. But then this is the.
But on the real, would you take a hit for ego for being flown out first class every single time?
No, shall I tell you why?
No.
Because I want to be put out first class on my own merits. I want to do it
That's the
myself. I want to do it myself.
But then, okay, so let me even ask you this: would you feel? At what point would you think you would feel uncomfortable? Because this is the thing: is you're going to be put in those dynamics all the time, and you're always gonna feel where do I fit in? Where is my place?
Yeah.
Is it just a case of me like? I think it's even for women that are in a sense considered trophy wives. I feel like there's always an element of them feeling lost in terms of where is my place within this relationship. Okay, I can be I can be the trophy wife, but then it's like again, I feel like I can be more than that for you. So imagine roles reverse now for a man. You're gonna feel like where do I fit in?
You know what it is? The perfect example to give you, put relationships aside, put friendships between man them. Yeah? If today, one of us became a multimillionaire, yeah? And then, inshallah. And then all of a sudden, yeah? Man was like, oh yeah, we man doing the weekend, what? Miami, yeah? All right, oh, you man, jump on the plane.
That's different.
Hold on. First week, everyone's like, of course, bro, blah, blah, blah. When the man is picking up the bill every single time, you're gonna feel awkward,
100%.
and that's even platonic relationship between man and man, because you're still gonna feel like, rah, bro, I don't even want to feel like I'm just leeching off this guy. Like, even though he's my boy, you're gonna feel like sometimes, oh, can I pay for myself? But bro, the lifestyle he's living, you can't even afford that.
Yeah, and your boys even saying, don't worry, it's cool.
Your boy said it's cool, bro.
But
like,
it's still gonna feel. There's always gonna be an element you feel like I don't want to take the piss.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna.
You're my boy. I don't take the piss.
But the person that's paying the multi-millionaire, I'm not gonna. I think that would wear out in a bit because they'll be like, you know what, I'm moving up, so my circle's gonna move up, and not my circle. I'm saying my circle, the one I put myself in. For example, they're gonna get new friends because they are multi-millionaires or whatever.
Yeah, okay,
yes, but
then,
the difference with that is this, right? It's a case of okay, if you're my boy and I'm trying to bring you into those circles and you can't function, then it's a case of like, okay, you know, I may have to distance myself a little bit. Classic example of that would be Rio Ferdinand when he was talking about some of his boys and stuff like that. You just kind of have to be like, look, I just kind of like, not to say that they're not my boys or anything here, but then I'm moving in certain circles that I just feel like they're in a certain mindset where they're not trying to understand it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's just like even with artists as well that try to bring 50 man into the what do you call it? The gig the shows that I'm trying to do, or let's say the gig I'm trying to do. It's like hold on, and it's just like okay, I'm bringing 50 man, but then a good 30 of them probably gonna cause trouble for me, and I can't. As much as that, listen, you're man them and I love you and that, I'll go back now and again, but I still can't bring you into those circles because you don't have to function in those circles.
But what's the difference? The difference is a goal.
Yeah.
Rio Ferdinand had a goal.
Yeah.
No one was getting in the way of that. You get me?
Agreed.
Like if someone you're talking about your example of like someone trying to level up.
Yeah.
And then trying to still be boys with the boys. That would never, in my opinion, that would never work.
Why? You know what? This is what I think. I think even if you level up here, you don't have to. Like for example, Rio Ferdinand. I watched that podcast actually. One of the things he said is that when you're playing for Man United, first of all, footballers have a very strict schedule where they're just chaperoned everywhere every day of the week. Yeah. You're traveling to bloody Munich. You're going to one country in Ukraine. You're everywhere. Your week is not a normal week because you're constantly traveling for games. So I can understand how that would be distance. But if I became a multi-millionaire tomorrow, like personally speaking, would I have a different set of people that I roll around with because I'm into money? Yes. However, I know I'm never ever going to have more fun than with my friends, than experiencing that with my friends. So why would I want to pull myself away from that? It doesn't make any sense.
So now you're running into the issue of having dual personalities.
Why is that?
Because you want to be the personality that's accepted in the multimillionaire circle so that you can become even more of a multimillionaire and into more deals, etc. Because that's, again...
But you know what it is, though? I think that, one, people from our culture actually... Depending on what section of our culture you come from, we're actually not bad when it comes to social mobility because actually we've actually had to almost adapt all the time.
Well,
we go to work and everyone's speaking in different voices, what have you. So we actually understand that when I'm around these people, I can move like this. When I'm around my man, I can move like this. We're actually very good at doing that. But for you to think, for me to think that if I became a multimillionaire tomorrow, I'm gonna have a completely brand new set of friends that I'm gonna want to travel with all the time. That's not happening. Like, it's just actually not happening. Like my new friends that I would have would just literally be because of work. Do you know what I mean? But like, are they gonna be people that you invite to your kid's christening or like to your mum's 70th? No, it's still gonna be the same mandem that you grew up with that you're gonna invite to all those things. You know what I mean? So like,
you're right.
Why you might not have the same amount of time to like be on Shoreditch High Street or what have you? If you can't see the mandem on Shoreditch High Street for a whole year, we'll be like, oh, bro, don't worry, I ain't seen the mandem for a whole year. But Christmas time, we're doing Vegas, and you just do it on a madness. Do you know what I mean? You just do it so that it's memorable when you do it.
Can I go back to a point where you said in terms of the man is always paying for you, and you're feeling some type of way?
Yeah.
Did you not have this at school? Yeah. where there was that vulnerable rich kid but that wanted to seem cool with the cool kids and was taken advantage of. And man was so happy to be like, I'm so cool with taking this guy's money.
What do you mean?
You don't have
That,
that.
definitely
You
my
have that
school.
one rich kid, yeah.
Yeah.
They'll utilize. Oh, my mum's not here in the house, and they've got a mansion that fits the whole tribe.
Yeah,
And then they'll be like, you know what? Come over and.
there was one particular guy who had at the time, what was it? PS3, Xbox 360,
his
Wii,
house.
everything in his house. He said, "Man, them come free. We went free. We played, man. It was fun."
But you're also, from young, you're being taught.
Yeah, but you know what it is?
psychologically being taught.
When you're at that age, I just think that you see when you're like 13, 14, 15, you don't understand being excessive in things. Anybody that tells you anything is yes, yes. Oh yeah, let me come. Oh yeah, like
You don't want to miss out.
you don't want to miss out on anything. But when you get older, you start to understand. Like, yeah, probably that's probably not appropriate, or maybe not this time. Or bro, like you were saying, going back to that whole thing with your friends, like for example, even if you know your boy is a millionaire, it's like, bro, let me get this drink this time. You know he can afford to buy it for everybody, but you're just trying to just not take the piss. Like,
Yeah,
bro, it's
yeah.
cool. I'll get this round. Like, do you think he doesn't know that you can cover the whole thing? Of course he does. It's just it's a character thing, innit?
Of course.
But I do think it is difficult. Going back to what you're saying, it's difficult in that situation. Whether I actually think it's harder when you're all on the same level and then one person becomes excessively rich than when you just meet someone who's already rich.
Okay, let's take away money.
Yeah.
And put status in it.
Mm-hmm.
Status of, I'm talking about, for example, a politician, someone who's a public figure.
Yeah. It usually comes to money though, yeah.
Money will follow, but at times, not necessarily for politicians. I know, but politicians, you need to actually breathe in the system of money, and then you become a politician. But I'm saying from a status point of view, and you realize like, oh, my name actually, my rep holds weight.
Yeah.
And being with the man from the hood stains
My name. Yeah.
And from that, you kind of like distancing yourself
From
that.
people.
So it's just moving away from money itself.
That's a good example of that, yeah. Is does anybody know this? Well, everyone should kind of know that Conservative Sean Bailey, who's running for London Mayor. I don't know if anybody's read his backstory, but he is he's actually Mandem. So he's actually Mandem. He had a bit of a criminal past when he was younger. I think he done a few moves and that. But now he's the leader of the Conservative Party to become mayor, and so he's going to be going against
Sadiq.
Sadiq Khan in thing. Now, he definitely has Mandem from the ends that he's definitely not in the newspaper with. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Because, bro, like, you're now appealing to people that are outside your hood.
Sean
you've got to
Bailey's
move in a
doing,
certain way.
is basically doing Ghost.
He's ghost. He's actually, I said, he's ghost of power. He's actually doing ghost.
But
Without the drugs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as we know.
As far as we know. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, it goes back to that thing of, and it's interesting as well, because I was saying to somebody the other day, that when you think about what Sean Bailey represents here, if this guy was Labour, every black person would vote for him. But because he's Conservative, he gets no love from the band.
You don't know, because, okay. You ever like sat in a room, yeah, and you just instantly know, because you're with Mandem, because you're with ethnic people, everyone votes Labour.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You felt that before, yeah? You felt that before. Okay. I promise you'll be so surprised at people's voting history. Why? Because there's a certain level of shame attached to voting for Conservatives.
100%.
I
you
couldn't
come
be,
out,
yeah.
you
I
come
heard
out,
of that,
You're
actually.
seeing protests, you're seeing protests. How many times do you see Conservative protests? How many times do you see people holding the Labour sign?
All the
like
time.
that? All the time.
All the time.
So
Do
there's
you
a
guys,
certain
obviously, you guys are all traditional Labour voters, right? No?
Green Party still.
Green Party. Right. That's a wasted vote. But you know what, you are right. And once again, you see this whole conversation about, I've got an idea of I'm going to have this conversation properly about why and how black people vote or ethnics vote in this country.
Yeah.
And the reasons why they do. There's somebody I've got in mind that I actually want to come on to have that conversation. But going back to what we were saying about just understanding your dynamic when you're dating and stuff, it's very important. People always try to make it out like, oh, like you see, like people make this thing like, oh, you shouldn't see anything, just love, like just see love, like just see somebody and just see love. And people don't understand marriage. Okay, let's talk about, just put aside dating. Marriage is a very political decision. From the beginning of time, marriage is a political decision that people have tried to make about love. Because when the marriage originally started, it was families actually coming together to make power moves. I'm a powerful family, you're a powerful family. Your son's gonna marry my daughter. That's what marriage was initially. What marriage has become
Forge
now
alliances and stuff like that.
is what?
Forge alliances.
Yeah.
Forge alliances.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
become more powerful. Now, so it was always a political decision. Now it's become about love and like, don't care what religion somebody is and you can be this and they can be
Yeah.
that and everyone should just come together because of love. But actually, that's probably caused more problems when you think about it. Because people try to remove the politics from it. And the politics from it can never be removed. Because when you do make a decision to marry somebody, there's certain things you still think about. Do they come from a good family? What are their prospects? How do they think? Like, you have the love part of it, but you have the other part of it, which is very political. Is this person going to make a good parent? Like,
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. Like, that's got nothing to do with love. These are just things that are just your do's and don'ts.
Yeah, love is blinding, man.
Love is blinding, bruv. And I've always said this, yeah? You can love somebody who you are just not compatible to be with.
It's true.
That's a good point.
And this is why I say, yeah,
point.
as mad as it sounds, you cannot get hung up on love. Because you can love somebody and you can not be compatible for each other.
So at what point do you start loving?
Well, that
Not to
depends on
sound
when.
like so R&B, yeah, but at what point do you say, okay, I am compatible? Okay, let's.
Well, that goes back to what I say. When you say compatibility, I think, okay, in terms of the morals and how I want my life to live, and in terms of morals on how you want your life to live,
Do they match up?
Do they align?
Yeah,
do they match
align,
up?
Yeah.
Love is a thing of, oh, we're hanging out, we're having fun, and my heart is just attached to you, and blah, blah. That's the love part of it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
But it's reversed now. You use people love first and then be like, how compatible are you?
exactly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everything's done, and it's kind of interesting because going back to what we were saying about where marriage and all of that started from, it was like the compatibility came first. Because it was like, this is what my family believes in, this is what your family believes in. You guys are gonna figure out the love part afterwards. You guys will learn to love each other. So that's where it came to afterwards, right? But the politics of it was at the front of why you were getting married.
Yeah.
Now that it's the other way around, like you said, sometimes people are getting into these relationships and you're loving each other, but you actually realize that actually we don't really want the same things.
Yeah.
Like,
You get to a point where you don't really sometimes always check yourself to kind of know, all right, can I, as much as I might love this person, can I tolerate this? Can I endure this? If we go anything further, can I take this on?
it's a powerful word,
Yeah.
endure.
So what?
Yeah, because like, and I said this a few days ago to a friend, right? Yeah, I said, if we truly knew what love is, right, we wouldn't move we wouldn't move how we move.
Go on.
So, like, if you think of it this way, right, yeah, if you've ever been in love and it obviously necessarily didn't work out, and let's say if you're in a relationship now with someone who you love, okay, let me put it this way. Okay, you're married now. You love your wife. Yeah. If you truly, and even in the marriage now, you truly don't know what love is. You're still exploring it and still understanding it, right? If you truly knew what it was, do you think the people, let's say the girls who you would have fell in love with, do you think you would have been like, would you think you would have been with them?
In the past,
Yeah.
I think the girls, because obviously I've been with my missus for a long time, but the girls I was with in the past,
I don't know if you're
I wasn't. If I can answer that, I can. The girls I'm in the past, yeah. The truth of the situation is, I wasn't dating to marry them. I was dating to have a good time. Like, we're vibing. We're vibing.
Okay.
I like you. You like me. Marriage is way far down the line.
Right.
You're a great person. I love
Right.
I love being around you.
Okay.
And that's great. I wasn't thinking that far ahead. Now looking now, were they women that I could have married? Absolutely not.
But the
So,
thing is,
so knowing that, yeah, would you have gone through all of that, knowing what you know now with love?
Yes.
So you still would have gone through that as well?
Yes. Because I just for what it was at the time, I loved being in that space.
Right, okay.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it was at a different part, I was young, at a different part in life, and they almost served a purpose to my life at the time. And those,
Okay.
do you know
But
what I'm saying?
I get that, but I'm just like, if we truly knew what it was, we wouldn't do half of those stuff anyway, because we know what love is to be. So to then go through, in a sense, the element of trauma or
Yeah.
element of like, should I say, wasting of time to a degree, we wouldn't have gone through that.
but you know, it's easy to say that looking back. That's hindsight.
Yeah,
Kind
yeah.
of thing. So it's,
Yeah.
it's easy to always say that, oh, if I knew this, I would have acted differently, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think with love it's different, because I feel like with love, we're never really gonna, as humans, we're never really gonna actually understand what love is.
You don't
But
think
that's
so?
the
We
thing,
could never
I don't
fathom
think
it.
I don't think so. I
We
feel
could never
like
fathom it.
you're just constantly trying to like in search of it. Like I feel like even if you get married or something, like even this whole kind of term, what do people say? When they say like my true love, I can't remember the actual term that they say. No, not even first sight. Like my true love, like my
Soulmate,
soulmate.
yeah,
That's it,
okay.
soulmate.
Yeah.
Like the whole idea of a soulmate or I've met my soulmate. I don't think you can even say I've met my soulmate.
I don't get
I
that.
feel like that's an end goal thing. I think maybe if you're 90 or something like that, that's
Big
when you
man
say
thing,
this
I've-
was my soulmate. You
I've
can't be
never
saying
understood what
I've
that
met my
meant.
soulmate or this is my soulmate if you just got married.
But I think soulmate is it touches on religious connotations. Like your
And that's-
soulmate, like you've been decreed, like in the past, like so before you've
Yeah.
been like be created, you've been destined to have someone that you've been. That's why people go through
Might have had
divorce
that
and stuff like
feeling,
that.
but
They
it
find out.
doesn't now when people say it. People say it, it's more like they just feel
Yeah,
like you're the person
person.
to me that would have said. And as you said, I think to say that now,
It's mad.
Once
after
again,
2 years of being with someone,
and I
But that's
get.
because we've said it, right? This guy is well, and I made it as a joke. And like
Yeah.
you laughed at it. Imagine you came out to your boys a year after or something like that, even months ago. You know what? This is the one, yeah.
But being the one is.
But even
bro, what's this guy on?
No, but you know what it is? Look, I know guys that have met somebody within a year and a half.
Yeah.
That's
Shorter
the
than
one
that
for them. They've
even,
moved
yeah.
in
Yeah.
together, what have you. But going back to what Sheg was saying about soulmate, I don't even understand what that term even means. Like, bro, for me personally, my soul is attached to God, bro. That's the only soulmate I want to have. I want to die and go to heaven. That's just. So I don't understand what that means.
But
Do you know what I'm saying?
generally, soulmate, like this is my understanding of soulmate, is that outside of love, your principles and your values match.
Is
Like
it?
What we're talking, and what,
I
like
don't
what
know.
we were talking about earlier in terms of like, can I see myself with that person for the next 5, 10, 15, like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that in itself produces a soulmate.
Okay. Well, to be honest, I can't even comment on that because I don't know what I don't know where the caption came from. But going back to what you were saying just now about a lot of people, we won't experience love. The problem is that love means something different to everybody.
100%.
And the problem is that everybody's interpretation of love
It's always going
is
to differ.
so different.
And that's
You know
why
what I mean?
that's why I said I don't think we're ever going to actually fathom what love really is.
You know, love has the same effect as cocaine on your brain.
Go on.
So when you
Huh?
It's like dopamine.
To be honest, I've never
That's the
sniffed.
dopamine.
Right,
For the record, I've never sniffed cocaine.
That's what I'm saying. So when you do break up with a girl, the only reason you feel so horrible is because you're suffering withdrawal symptoms from that girl. You're
Okay.
getting that dopamine rush that you used to get when you were with this girl.
Mm.
So the question is, are you gonna take cocaine for this girl? Basically, that's what.
The balance, yeah.
Throw yourself back in there.
Put yourself in a chemical imbalance for this girl. Risk putting yourself in a chemical imbalance.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, it's like without getting to a point where people are now doing things the other way around, and it's like I love you, and then we'll try and figure it out afterwards. And a lot of the time, that's where a lot of the distraction and the confusion kind of comes in. So a lot of people don't find the balance, and people are like, because we live in a world now of relationship goals and relationship, like, you know, you just scroll this nonsense that you see people saying online, in comment sections and stuff. It's almost like there's more and more pressure that people are feeling to get into relationships
Yeah.
because they feel like what they're seeing online, it's a fear of missing out.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah.
because of that,
Or you're not complete.
you're not complete.
Yeah.
People are just rushing into things like, and it's almost like the red flags that people are seeing, it's just being ignored. Do you know what I mean? Because, but it's just for vibe. And that's why you're saying that knowing what I know now, would I have done things differently? Well, no, because back then I wasn't dating to marry. So actually, if I was dating to marry back then I would be like, yeah, actually, because what all the things, but I was actually looking for nothing other than just enjoying each other's company.
Right, okay.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, in a way, it was kind of more like a friendship in that sort of sense. That there was no politics attached to my decision making whatsoever at that age. Do you know what I
When you
mean?
got married,
Yeah.
what sort of politics was attached to it?
All those things that I spoke about. Are you going to be a good parent? What sort of family do you have? What are their morals? What are their, do you know what I mean? Like, where are you trying to go in life? Like, what are you trying to do? How can I be an asset to that? All those sorts of things, you know what I mean? Like, I'm very big on, like, when you're in a relationship with somebody, you're meant to be an asset to that person. And that's whether you're male to female or female to male. Like, the first question you got to ask yourself is, and not these sort of stupid things that people say where, like, what are you bringing to the table? And like, do you know what I mean?
Guy
Like,
hates that question.
and it's so stupid.
hates it.
Because when people say it, it's usually people that have nothing to offer that always say those sort of things.
right.
Like, what you bring to the table. But in terms of the fact of, I don't think people really think to themselves, okay, this is where you're at now. How can I elevate you in every aspect of life?
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what it is.
Is that a question for both parties to ask?
For both parties, because
Okay.
usually when you ask it to a man, when you say to a man, what do you bring to the table? Everyone thinks about finance.
Yeah.
Usually when a man says, a female, what do you bring to the table? What do people really think about? Are like like who are you as a woman, or like what are you going to be good in the kitchen? You know, just very gender role specific sort of things, innit?
I heard that.
But there's so much more to the spectrum of what you bring into the table other than the gender roles side of it. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, it's about how you're going to... So the reason why a woman can date a man that's earning 10 times as more is that actually there's so much more you can add to his life that is not financial.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And outside of the gender roles.
Can a man do that? It's verse.
So let's talk about it. So can a man do that? Yes, he can. However, he can do that. He actually can add to her life in more than those ways. It's just that I don't feel like the male ego is structured to cope with that long term. So it's not like he can't add value to her in other ways other than financial.
Right.
But I feel like there's something ingrained in our ego, and I'm involving myself in that we can't deal with that over a long period of time.
Right.
And I don't know why it is. I
think especially
put yourself in a scenario like, okay, so you're with this high value woman or something, and she's the person that's taking you everywhere. She's taking you. Okay, let's even continue with the Rihanna example. So she's taking you to this, I don't know, one
Grammys
or something
everywhere.
like that, or Grammy like this, and she's chatting to Meek Mill, Jay-Z, all these people, and say, "Oh, this is my man."
And you're just there.
Could you put up with that repetitively? Like it's happening. Could you put up with that?
Honestly, whatever answer I give you, you'll be like, this guy, whatever. You can't
No. I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
Do you know what it is? I genuinely think it's about self-awareness.
Yeah. I heard that.
About like how you are content with yourself and your relationship.
And that's what I'm saying.
And for me personally, like I'm not gonna lie. My views and stuff like that also all have a foundation of religion in it. So I feel like whenever I give my personal view, it's just so not like general to anyone.
It's basically
But for me personally, like as a person, you gotta understand your role within that dynamic. And like you said, as an asset, helping that person. If my role as a husband is 100% fulfilled from just being that supportive person, that's religiously or just as a person, as a husband.
But you know what?
Yeah,
Even with that being said,
I hear that.
With that being said, even let's talk religiously as well. Like a lot of guys brought up in religion kind of feel that the man is meant to be the provider, the leader, and all this kind of thing. So now when you put yourself in a relationship where the man is not really, well, you could still provide, but you're not the main provider, you're not the main leader.
Not the new gen. Because I say, like, for example, my parents had one view. My parents' gen had one view.
Mm-hmm.
You go work in the morning, early in the morning, you come back, you're the one who's bringing bread, and the bread's been cut up in the kitchen by do you know what I'm saying? Like that in itself is just
traditional.
That's the norm. That's the norm of it.
Yeah.
But for now, the new gen, and I feel like social media has added to it, is that as a husband and as a wife, like your dynamic is bespoke to your relationship. If your relationship makes the wife thrive and it's a bit calm,
so
you play your part.
So given that, would you be happy to date obviously for religion, not Rihanna's per se, but in terms of your religious beliefs and morals, would you be happy to date a woman in that status?
Yes, but
in your current status now.
Like I said, like what question Josiah said earlier that made me actually sit down and actually think was that you said what was it do for me, or you said something about like what is my role, what my part is.
Yeah, where do you fit in? Where do you fit in?
Yeah.
When I was thinking that, I was thinking, yes, that would definitely cause up tension. You know, like you said, like, for example, the male ego is so like
it's very fragile.
Yeah. But then again, I feel like it's just built up by like toxic environments and the societies of like what a man should be.
Yeah.
For me, just answer your question, I think I would definitely be open to it. I won't shut it out. Straight up. Because then I'd like to explore how I would feel like in that position.
Question leading on from that. Do we think that men are struggling to live up to the standards that we have set for ourselves?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
First of all, do we even know what standards we have for ourselves?
Yeah.
Well, that's the
starting
so
point.
we live in a patriarchal society. So we have set the standards for what men should be.
No. I don't understand.
No,
agree with that.
Yeah, I hear that.
Old men have said
I hear that
No,
point.
not even.
I hear that point. But I'm saying this: do we know the standards we have set for ourselves first? Like, as in, you as a man, do you know the standards you set for yourself?
Okay.
Because there is a pressure in terms of what society has said a man should be, or let's say even from a biblical standpoint, or let me just say religious standpoint. Let me put it on in that umbrella. But for yourself, what standard have you set for yourself? Because I think once you've identified, and it goes back to Ali's point in terms of being self-aware, then certain things won't move you to be a certain way or feel like you need to be. Do you get what I'm saying? Because if you feel like, okay, at the end of the day, like, because even if I'm going to say, all right, I'm securing, let's say I provide for my woman, for instance. Yeah. Now, majority of the time when we talk about providing is always from a financial point of view. But if you look at what providing, if let's say take the word in itself, basically, okay, I could be providing you love, I could be providing you emotional stability, I could be providing an environment within the house, basically, that allows for communication to flow, for things to flow within the house that is not necessarily financial, and I'm still providing. So it's a case of, by what standards are you saying I am lacking in my providing? Because as a man, I'm saying that I'm self-aware myself to be able to know that, look, this is by your standards and I'm doing the job that I need to do within myself. So what happens then?
Shades, you want to touch on that?
Boy, I mean, I feel like that's definitely true because, again, we kind of think about all these kind of standards that have been set for guys. We kind of think of it as being like society and religion and stuff like that. But for me personally as well, I've got my own values of what I feel like a man it should be, kind of thing. And this is a kind of an amalgamation of, like, from my religion, from my own experience with, like, my dad and how my dad is within the family, from, like, other men around me as well, kind of thing. So I feel like it's all one thing. And for me personally, I know myself and I try to work on myself. So I kind of know what kind of values I feel like a man should possess, especially within a relationship as well. Do I feel like a lot of guys know that? I don't think so. I don't honestly think so.
Can I say that? Going back to what you're saying about men setting their standards for themselves, I think we all do this, yeah? But the harsh reality that we all have to deal with is that in a world which is based on survival, yeah, there's your standard and then there's the market, yeah? And we are all still having to compete in the market. So the truth of the situation is that men are having to compete with men for women and women are having to compete with women for men.
But you know, with you saying that, I don't think that it was actually men that set those standards. I think women, well, in this modern society, I feel like women set those standards. Because for me, like, when I think about me, my guys, people that I know as well, like, I go to Shoreditch and I see every guy there driving the same car. Everyone's in a Benz. Everyone's having the same thing. Everyone's wearing the same crepe. Everyone's wearing the same drip. It's drippy in it. Everyone's doing that. And I'm wondering, and I'm thinking,
everybody makes sure they have the essentials.
Essentials, tracky, you get it? And they're doing this because they feel like this is what they need to become or this is who they need to be to attract women. Again, going back to this whole rebranding thing that we touched upon in terms of, like, unis and stuff like that. I know some guys, I know how they used to be. I know who they are. But their perception that other people would see of them is very different to who I know these people to be. And I feel like they've now tried to take on this persona to attract the women because, again, if you're not demanded, you're not getting nothing.
Is that not the same as women going to get their bum done and doing body goals and all that sort of stuff too?
Again, to an extent, it is.
It's the same
to
thing,
an extent, it
goes back to my point in terms of what the standards that you are setting. Because if you're setting your own standards, you're not gonna. Yes, that is the market, but then you're not gonna now allow the market to now what do you call it? In a sense, depict your value.
But then you're not gonna meet anybody.
No. This is the thing. You know where you stand. You know what the market is saying, basically. But then if I'm, it's just like I hear a lot of people say it, like who did, like, let's say, social media experts and stuff like that. One of the things they always say is pick your niche market. Yeah. You pick your niche market now. You can determine your own value. You see what, like, in a sense, the market says about certain things, right? Yeah. But then it's a case of, well, what's different from me is that this is X, Y, Z, and that's why. I can now charge this, basically.
But you're responsible as individuals, you're responsible to where you draw that inspiration from and setting those values from. You're saying if say someone who doesn't have a job or a steady income and they're trying to set the same values and principles as someone who's, you know, out there making it and etc. Like, for example, like, you know how, like, people look up to musicians and etc. and celebrities. That's just unrealistic, and that's why individuals fail as a responsibility, where you need to make it attainable for you to go and seek out. Okay, and then for me, I feel like as men, for example, one thing that we don't touch upon, and one thing that we should acknowledge, is that how much inspiration we draw from the women in our lives. Like, for example, personally, I have a couple elder sisters before me. I'm like, the eldest is a girl. second, and so forth. But for me personally, I'm thinking the struggles that they went through, because it definitely wouldn't be the struggles I went through. Like, oh, what time are you coming home? Stuff like that. Like those sort of values I draw upon to then set my standards.
Yeah.
Because, and for me personally, like, I see them as so successful in what they're doing, and yet they've overcome so much that for me personally, I'm thinking, rah, like.
But I think in our culture,
But
we do, I think in our scene, I thought culture scene, whatever you want to put it, I think like we do. Reason being, I say that is because of the single parent sort of narrative, basically, that that a lot of people are going through. Basically, single mum done a lot, so they've seen, in a sense, the hard working kind of mum, obviously having to run 2 jobs. So I feel like, and I'm probably saying this more from, let's say, so I say from sports or musicians, in a sense. Basically, you'd always see that. So like, class example would be Marcus Rashford, for example, seeing obviously his mum, so knowing that. So I do feel like we do acknowledge the value system that, in a sense, our kind of the mothers or the women in our life have placed in our lives, in that sense. But I still feel like, even with that, you still need to define for yourself as a man
What your standards are.
100%.
You know, in terms of going back to what you're saying about what your standards are, I always say this here. I was like, a lot of men say, this is what I want in a woman. And a lot of women say, this is what I want in a man. But very rarely are people like, do I currently represent what I want my dream man or woman to be attracted to?
Right.
But shouldn't that be part of the process, though? You're working towards that.
Yes,
but I'm saying that because it's a lot more self-reflective, because it's
Right.
almost like we have these, go back to what we're saying about checklists, right? I want a woman that's got bang, 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 bang. But do I represent what that dream woman would want in a man?
Right.
But
Am I
if you
making
look at
myself
it
attractive?
to that
Yes,
dream woman?
yes.
Now, if a lot of people start looking at it from the other perspective, you're more likely to work on yourself, like Shugs was saying, because it's more self-reflective.
Yeah. Part of you
Rather
being
than
more self-aware.
idealistic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
So a lot of people don't ask themselves that question. All it is, like, and you see it with people's stupid tweets and stuff like, oh yeah, if a man is not doing this, or if a woman is not doing this, like, blah, 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 you can do this, or send them to the streets, or blah, 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 blah. But people are not self-reflective to be like, what? A lot of the time, people are actually very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's insecure. It comes from insecurity.
Oh, gosh.
So you kind of push those things out on other people, or the failed relationships that you've had before. It's all insecurity.
Yeah.
Like, actually, you don't want to address the things that you don't like about yourself. So it's easier for everything else to be the problem.
Yeah.
They call that external locus of control. Where you place.
Grammar.
Love that.
So there's a saying in psychology where they be like, you have a high internal locus of control, which means that you're more likely to accept that the change needs to happen within you, and
Like
you,
that.
you accept the accountability.
I like that.
Whereas if you have a high external locus of control,
Yeah.
the reason why I failed is because the teacher missed 10 lessons,
Or
or
blah,
she
blah, blah.
took maternity
Or you
leave.
know the one they love at school. Oh yeah, my teachers told me I was gonna fail. No, you
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
You were just
Yeah.
shit in class.
Yeah.
Like, you just didn't do any work. It's just, you know what I mean? People love to bang that one out. Like, my teachers always, rappers love that as well. My teachers always told me I was gonna fail. Bro, you were stupid. Like, it's just that simple. Like, when you actually been around school, you're just
Brother.
like, bro, you just didn't do any work.
Had you not found the mic, you would have.
Yeah. Like I say to kids all the time, I say, look, listen, when I go into schools and stuff, I say, look, listen, guys, don't give your teachers ammo to shoot you.
100%.
Because majority of the stuff they do, like, even if they say, oh, this teacher doesn't like me or whatever, no, they're just not obviously going to like you from the day dot. You've done a whole bunch of things for them to be like, listen, do you know what? It's not really going to work. And then what's even mad is this, when it comes to parents' evening, oh, this person, the son, son's all right, but he has the potential to do what he
They
needs
love
to
that
do.
word in school. It's a key
He has
word.
the potential,
Ade's great.
But
Easily distracted.
yeah.
right. You see that there?
It's like, if you guys just learn all these terms in
100, listen.
your PGC.
This 100%, always the case.
It's easy to
Always
explain.
the case.
In a school setting, if we're talking about school, isn't it weird, how a teacher can actually have a proper relationship, like for them, I feel like it's hard for a teacher to have a young person to teach a relationship.
Yeah.
especially if they hit year 11.
Yeah.
They've seen them as mature. The boys
They
have gone
get
deeper.
deeper.
The girls are more mature. Obviously,
Yeah.
So for them, it's like, like should I be really having that perception as I would with a colleague, for example?
Yeah.
Like they are just a kid.
Yeah, you know, it's like, I think the dynamic of, because the dynamic I had with my teachers at secondary school was very different to the dynamic I had with my teachers at college. And at university, I didn't have any dynamic with any of my teachers.
Oh, so yeah.
It's just like, bro, just give me my work and let me do.
Yeah.
You didn't even try to talk to you. But I remember, like at college, my teacher at college, when I did English or something like A levels, and she made me just fall in love with English. Like she made me fall in love with English, and it wasn't anything in terms of our relationship, but
It's the way she delivered it. Yeah.
the way she, her love for it made me love it.
Yeah.
But don't you think, for me personally, I was like that for maths, and I feel like the relationship was a lot more than what you're trying to feed me. There's a saying, like in the youth like world of sex, it's like young people young people won't care what you know until they know you care.
Right.
So for them, it's like as a young person, especially struggling like minority people, and you know they need extra love, and they know they're struggling at home. It's like that relationship means so much to them. Sometimes it might be a male a teacher that's giving that, because I don't know, you never know. Like for example, using an example, they might not have a male figure at home.
Do you know so mad? Just touching on that, how like in secondary school, you know your teachers by like let's say Mr. Something, right? Yeah. So like, okay, for example, my music teacher, Mr. Holder, I'd always know him as Mr. Holder. Do you get what I'm saying? To this day, like even if what's mad is even if I let's say what's the word of Grammy, I'll be like, listen, big up Mr. Holder. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy now when you get to uni now, right? Yeah, you know your teachers on a first name basis, right? Yeah, but there's so much distance.
Much distance. And there's not really no respect as well.
Yeah. Because year in year out, you're seeing that 10K a year.
And as well, it's just like, you just see them as somebody that's just there to do it. You actually see them as someone that's just employed to do a job.
Yes.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
whereas like my music teacher took time. Like, she was just invested. Like, it was funny because I remember like parents' evening, my dad used to be like, okay, you know, I'm going to go see your music teacher last because I know what the report's going to be. You know what I'm saying? Whereas like, it's mad because my music teacher used to come out and find my dad to be like, listen, like your son is just an absolute gem in my class, sort of thing. Do you get what I'm saying? And I'd always said that if I was to like, let's say, go to some sort of music award show and I was let's say nominated for something, I'm taking my music teachers as a guest.
That is mad.
Just because of like, just that fact of that investment. Like he would show me certain. So I remember he showed me how to play Easy Like Sunday Morning. Jeez. And I was just like, brother, yo, like. And that's what made me fall in love with like old school music, man. Like, probably I was like, okay, I respect this. And guy he's from Australia. I was like, bruv, this guy's just a G, bruv. Absolute G.
Shout out music teacher, man.
Trust me.
Speaking about school, I think the whole basis of the conversation today is just, I know we spoke a lot about relationships, but it's just continue to learn.
Yep.
It's so important to continue to learn, but most importantly, offer your own actions, your own decisions. I think that's so important. And you know what it is as well, I'll use myself as an example, One thing, like I'm not a perfect person by any way stretch of imagination, but one thing I always try to do in every situation, is, especially like in marriage, is like, I always think to myself, am I being fair? Do you know what I mean? That's the question I always have to ask myself. Like, if I have an argument or what have you, and I'll go away and I might think about it, I'll be like, okay, am I being fair? But what's the fairest thing to do? Now, once you put aside all the emotions of blah, 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 where is the fair line to draw here? Do you know what I mean? And a lot of the time, people don't want to draw on the fair line because your emotion wants you to sit on one side. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So your emotion is constantly trying to force you to your own agenda.
Actually, touching on that, I wanted to ask this, right? I wish Tolu was here as well. So obviously you done pre-marriage counselling, right?
Yep.
As a married man, so two questions. So as a married man, would you still do counselling
now? That's such a good question, because you know what's funny, Before I got married, I was like, I kind of just did the counselling thing because it was just part of the process.
Right.
And
it's part of the checklist to
say that.
Yeah.
You know, my pastor who I done it with, like, I've got so much time for him. Do you know what I mean? Like,
what process is that? Religious process?
Yeah, like in terms of getting married, like you'd have the counselling. Yeah. So you have the
pre-marriage counselling.
Pre-marriage counselling leading up to when you get married with the church and stuff.
Is that like a one? Sorry to go into it, but is that a one session?
No, it's a few sessions. How many sessions?
Yeah.
A few, man.
It depends on the church.
But like, I think it was over a few months.
Yes, depending on the church.
It's like informal catch-ups.
Yeah,
all that sort of stuff. Like he'll sit you down, you'll talk, blah blah blah. all of that sort of stuff. So I really enjoyed doing it with the past that I did. So that was at the time. But I've never been someone that's thought about counselling before.
Right.
But it's not like I'm against it, but I've always tried to think to myself, I know what my issues are.
Right. Okay.
So do I want to pay somebody to tell me what I already know about myself?
Okay.
Sometimes you don't know what your issue is.
And that's why I started off by saying I know what my issues are. So if I know what my issues are and I'm not trying to work on it, that's just me being stubborn.
Do you think you know all of the issues?
Yes. I feel I'm very self-aware of what my issues are. Now, again, going back to what I was saying about like the line of being fair, can I be guided by emotion? 100%. 100% I can be guided, but it doesn't mean I'm not aware. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely aware of this is where my weakness is, this is where my flaw is, this is where I need to improve. So in terms of counselling, again, it goes back to what you're saying is that, do I need to have a conversation with someone to tell me what I already know? Or do I need to just act on what I already know?
Okay. Okay. So in
Is that what I'm
saying
saying?
in saying
Go on.
that now, this is a question to all the guys. Obviously, we might call it counselling, but or therapy. Do you feel, as men, we should do therapy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do,
For
man.
me, yeah, I feel like therapy is not only to highlight like your flaws, kind of thing, like Adi was saying. I feel like in some cases it's just a place where you can actually just speak and actually, because a lot of men actually bottle their things inside.
Yeah.
A lot of people just bottle it, so you don't kind of understand them like kind of therapeutic kind of feel that you will get from like being able to just speak out and actually tell someone, oh, this is what I'm going through or this is what's happening, and then they can kind of give like their own kind of diagnosis on the situation kind of thing. So therapy,
Right.
and I feel like it's definitely something that should be considered, because even now we're starting to see like issues, especially within like the black community as well, and males as well. Like we can see that there's a lot of people that are being affected by this kind of mental health kind of stuff and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely something that we should talk about it.
Yeah.
We definitely should talk about
You know,
it.
what it is, I think going back on what you're saying, yeah, I think it's 100% right. Like sometimes you do need not something someone to vent to, but like you said, it is good to just talk to someone about something that you might not speak to anybody else about, or having somebody that only sees you as a client,
Yeah.
Right.
rather than having a friend or somebody who knows everything around the situation.
Yeah.
But you're actually seeing someone who's completely unbiased.
Right. Yeah.
So actually, maybe that is actually a good reason to do that. And in terms of talking about bottling up your emotions, and I was even thinking to myself again with many, you know how men are taught to not show their emotions. Men are, like, if I was going to ask everybody, if I was going to ask you, when was the last time you cried?
My daddy smacked me when I was 8. That's it.
You haven't cried since you were 8 years old.
I haven't cried.
Wow,
I haven't cried.
When was the last time you cried, AJ?
I haven't cried.
Yeah. Obviously, okay, yeah. Of course, I know about the situation. And last time,
It's been a minute. I don't remember.
years,
Yes, yeah.
But for what reason though?
just any. When was the last
Any
time you
reason.
cried?
Last month.
Last month? I knew.
Yeah,
A year or
or
two?
ago, yeah. Last month.
Last month. Zah?
probably say like last year. So this is the thing. For me, yeah, it's this year. So like, and I know you would understand this. For me, yeah, like I don't cry often, but one thing that can always get me is like being in church
Oh,
and
100%.
worship.
100%.
Mate, there's a thing about worship for me, yeah. There's
done
like,
at
or
it,
there might be certain songs that are being like, let's
done
say,
at it.
thrown into the mix, yeah. And
I'm done at
gone.
it. I'm done at it.
I'm on the drums and I'm just there like, I'm just trying to hold the emotion. I'm like,
I've lost it, bruv.
completely lost it.
Yeah, but that's happiness. See,
Huh?
happiness.
It's, you know what it is?
I don't know how to explain it because it's not even. It's what's the word?
So
to use?
okay, for me, it's like okay.
Is it gratitude?
There's gratitude.
Yeah.
Then there's a thing of
Overwhelming
like,
effect.
yeah,
Like,
it's just overwhelming in the fact of like, and probably goes back to my point in terms of understanding true love. The fact that and why we can't fathom it is for someone to like with all the mess that I am, still consider me as his son and still want to care about me.
It's powerful.
Like, and I'm just there like, oh, I'm just a wreck. Or just there's certain words within the song basically, yeah. So like one of my favorite songs is a guy called Jay Thomas. I'm not sure if he wrote, but it's How We Love Your Name. And just the first line of the verse, no other God can be called a father, no other God can be called a friend. When I first said I was lashed, I was like, I'm like, hold on. Someone that I see like in terms of this mighty God, but then also wants to be my friend.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can fathom that. Because then you want to know everything about me, like as a friend, do you get what I'm saying? But at the same time, you're still this like powerful, like being who created me in all that I am, but still loves me to the point that I want to be. I'm just like, I'm just lost it.
For me, that's very interesting to know because as you know, and maybe in your religions,
Yeah.
sort of like you only know your religion first. As a young person,
Yeah.
especially growing up, you only really know other people's religion after school and that. So for me, when I say last month I cried, it was because of religious reasons.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So for me personally, your feeling of that, I can see that my feeling in something else. For example, I saw it when there's certain verses in the Quran, or for example, there's certain verses where in a lecture you're hearing and you're thinking, bruh, like I'm hearing a story of a prophet, and he said one prayer, and the predicament that he was in.
Yeah.
For example, we have Prophet Yunus, if I'm not mistaken, he was stuck in a whale. He said one prayer, and he was saved. He was saved from being in the whale, in the belly of the whale. Now, for me, it's thinking like how my worldly problems that I think are the end of the world.
Yeah, and that's his.
So
Yeah.
Are so minute. I promise you, it's like a blink of it. Like it doesn't even. Well, for God, it doesn't even take him an ounce of an effort.
Yeah.
And there's another thing where it's like where God will say, for example, in a predicament, He'll make you a passage, and that predicament is saying, for example, if you're like in a dungeon, for example, and there's no way out, you're literally top to bottom, all around you, and still in that predicament, there is a way out.
Yeah.
So I get from that
For religious reasons.
That's down to spirituality.
Yeah.
And that's why, for example, you have a lot of religious people going to being spiritual coaches. Because the spirituality is your connection with a higher being, or a higher God, for example.
100%. I think religion has always had that sort of effect on people. I mean, me for myself, the last time I actually cried was actually last week. Yeah, it's so random because I'm always getting onto my missus about. My missus just cries for anything. Like, obviously, we watch something on she watch something on TV and be like, "Oh my god, it's so sad," and she'll be crying. Do you know what I mean? Like she does that. And then last week, it was late. And I was just Netflixing, and I came across a documentary. Trust me, I came across a documentary. I was actually pissed off because one of my boys called me, and he always calls me mad late, just talking rubbish, bruv. And I was just like, bro, I'm really in the moment of something really deep here. Yeah. So I was like, I'll speak to you. I said, I'll speak to you later. Yeah. But anyway, I was watching this documentary. It's on Netflix called The Trial of Gabriel Hernandez. No, not Gabriel Hernandez. It's about a boy. It's about a boy who is like 8 years old, and he was abused by his parents. But they beat him up for months, to the point where this boy was coming to school every day with bruises on his faces, a new bruise every day he was coming to school with. Crazy. And basically the social services just basically. Do you see it? Gabriel Hernandez. Gabriel Fernandez. Yeah, the social services basically did nothing about it, and the boy died. Like there was a day the boy actually just died, and when they went to do the autopsy, like they couldn't believe how many injuries he had. Like his skull had been fractured, like his wrist he'd been burnt, like madness that they'd done to this boy of 8 years old. And I was watching this documentary, and I was just like, bro, my heart, bruv. I just started tearing up. I was like, how can a child? Do you know what I mean? Like, and this is a mother doing this to her child, not once off, daily. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I was just like, it's so mad because I was like, because my missus wasn't, when I was watching, she wasn't there. And I was happy she wasn't there because she pulled me up like, look at you, bitch ass. Because she's so crying out. But bro, like you said, it was the innocence of it. Raw, like this happened to a child, and just the whole system failed him.
Did you think of Ruben at the time?
1,000,000%. Because at the same time, I was thinking to myself, bruv, like, forget even the thought of me treating my son like that. But if anybody, I'm doing life. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You're actually writing off your life for anybody that even tries to even. And like you said, it goes back to it's the innocence of a child.
But do you when you see that, and for example, you've always seen, for example, charity appeals, right? You've always seen, for example, so and so living in a refugee camp, and they see this. Like that's what
it's a great selling point.
For us, we become so desensitized because we just flick past it, and we flick so like easily past it. Oh, I'm not donating £1 a month because. That I'm saying, us becoming desensitized
to suffering
doesn't allow us to experience those moments where you're like, bro, I'm so grateful for the childhood I had. Yeah. I'm so grateful for my parents, but also you're kind of thinking like, bro, to be in that situation,
Yeah.
how would someone survive? Like
And
how?
it made me think that I was like, as a child, yeah. Think about because we like all of us here were grown up like with loving parents, everything. Yeah, you don't actually understand how vulnerable you are as a child.
100%.
Like anybody could do anything to you,
100%.
and you won't even know you won't say nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like it actually makes sense. Anybody can violate you anyway, and if you're 7 or 8 years old as a child, how do you even express that? You don't know nothing. Do you know what I mean?
What was I gonna say? You see, I've watched the same documentary.
You watched it, yeah.
You've watched, but I'm not a father.
Yeah, yeah.
But obviously, you're a father.
Yeah, yeah.
You can,
Relate to that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
100%.
think that made you cry more.
1,000,000%. Because like you said before you asked, and I was watching, I was just thinking, bruv, like this. Imagine if this was your child.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it was like the mum was the biological mum, but the dad was her boyfriend. So it was like and he was one that was even doing the most physical abuse. So it's like as a woman, you have brought in another man into your house to kill your child. Do you know what I mean? So, boy, bit of a smart note to actually end this one with. But anyway, guys, it's been a great convo. Actually, it's actually good. Like now that we've got you guys on cam now. Can we give a round of applause, guys? For the Shegs and this is the King's decree.
Yeah. One of the things I said I wasn't going to come on cam for this episode. I'm going to come on for the music one still.
Oh, don't worry, we're getting there. We're going to spice it up a bit for you guys. But guys, this is the Gentleman's Code. The Gentleman's Code.
The Gentleman's Code.